tal? Soy Engel Fonseca aquí en IAB Conecta 2015 y bueno, es un gusto para mí estar con James Russo de Nielsen. How are you, James?
Very good, thank you.
First time in Mexico?
Fourth or fifth time, all
Yeah.
business, no
All
vacation.
business. You
though.
gotta go. You got a trip here,
Gotta
man.
work on that.
Yeah. So you gave an awesome keynote. You were speaking about Internet of Things. We're really enthusiastic that a big old company like Nielsen, with so much background on traditional media, understands the importance of digital and digitalization of everything. So I would like to ask, from your perspective and your expertise, what do you believe is the biggest challenge for the digital industry regarding marketing? What's the biggest challenge we have?
I think one of the challenges that Nielsen sees in the companies that we work in the digital technology space is not to lose sight of the end user.
Okay.
That end user experience and how that consumer is going to use that device, solution, or whatever it might be to make their lives better. Because the challenge is to get it caught up in incredibly cool, edgy technology.
Yeah.
Right? So we want to make sure that we understand how the technology can benefit consumers to help make their lives better from a business perspective. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow business. We're trying to make our lives better.
So you think that sometimes we're so enthusiastic about platforms and technology that we forget about people, right?
I think that's one of the watch outs.
Okay.
It's very easy to get excited about technology because it's very, very cool. So we just want to make sure that we always have an eye on the consumer. You know, and that's something that Nielsen focuses on in our research-driven world. To understand at the end of the day, it's about that consumer. It's about each one of us and our experience with that digital device.
Interesting. So an extra question, it has to do with that. Research is a culture. As you know, many companies, they do research, then they take decisions. But there's a lot of companies that they take decisions and then they do research.
That's true. And then some companies that do no research.
Yeah. So what's the potential of research implementation within action items in Latin America? I mean, out of 10 advertisers, how many are really doing deep research? And how many are just shallowing stuff?
I can't give you specifics in terms of the numbers that are actually doing, but I will tell you this. Where research is headed in terms of this vast field of understanding consumer dynamics, where that comes to fruition is on the measurement side.
Yeah.
It's one thing to do research. It's another thing to measure the results of the research to generate a return on investment.
Okay.
Because the more returns you can show on the research that's done, whether your advertising is effective or not, for example, whether your promotion is effective or not, will determine what level of research will continue.
Yeah.
So the measurement side is getting a lot of additional interest on both sides, from the supplier side and the company side as well.
Yeah, and I ask you this because in this world where everything is so fast and we're in a rush of taking decisions really fast, I mean, how can you be really deep about something when you see a research white paper in 5 minutes?
And here's the crux. And I've been in research for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
And I remember times when you had 6 months or a year to evaluate a campaign or a new product or whatever it might be. That's not the case today. Today, time and speed is becoming increasingly important, which means on the research side, you have to deliver digestible bites of content.
Wow.
It's got to be digestible bites of content. Now, the other layer to that is you better get it from a credible company.
Yeah.
That you can trust.
Interesting. Digestible information, not
The
just a
world
lot of
Twitter.
information.
140 characters. Tell me something.
Yeah,
140
simplicity.
characters. Yeah.
So what's your biggest satisfaction of working in Nielsen? I mean, you've been in Nielsen for a while now.
I've been in Nielsen since 2002.
Yeah.
Tremendous organization. One of the biggest satisfactions is just understanding the depth and breadth of research that Nielsen has to understand the consumer is unmatched. And I'm fortunate in my role within thought leadership to have access to all of that.
Wow.
To get a really cool understanding of what's happening in the consumer landscape on so many different topics, which is a conversation for a different day, but it's amazing the amount of insights that we have.
Wow, so interesting. So the slogan of the event is Reimagining the Future. I know that we can have a hypothesis about the future. I mean, you're not a wizard. I mean,
No.
you're not. But I'm asking this to every person that we're interviewing and that they're giving keynotes, and we're gonna generate a conglomerate.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah. So, we in 10 years, what do you think is gonna be happening?
2025.
Yeah. Well, besides we'll be older,
We'll be a little bit older.
mature.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can go into the answers of related to urbanization and changing middle class. I'll
Yeah,
stay away
say
from
whatever.
all of that.
You're free to say whatever. There is no right answer. Your forecast.
The common thread and what we see as really coming to fruition in that next 10 year is connectivity and
Okay.
connected commerce. Now I'm going to get a little bit in on the retail side, but it's the integration of the brick and mortar experience with the digital retail experience and how those come together. So the next 10 years, we're going to see companies that probably only existed on the tech space becoming more retailers.
Wow.
Ones that have a lot of insights in terms of consumers, the ability to reach consumers that want an increasingly connected mobile solution. So look for the retail landscape to dramatically change in 10 years with a new influx of intense technology companies.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy your stay in Mexico. We'll be eager to know more about you. You have a blog, your Twitter, we're mentioning your Twitter.
I do have a Twitter. I can be at James A. Russo.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Muchas
My
gracias a todos y aquí seguiremos entrevistando a los grandes speakers de IAB Conecta 2015.